Thank you, Quentin. And just let me know if the LG comes on and I will stop immediately. So thank you. And I really appreciate being asked to come and join you today. And on behalf of the Healey-Driscoll Administration, as well as Economic Development Secretary Eric Paley, I want to thank you and the folks on this call that probably already know a little bit about the Community One Stop for Growth. Maybe your community has received an award. And I just want to thank you for all that you do and looking to advance economic development projects within your own community. Next slide, please. Just a really, really brief history. We are now in the sixth annual round, and it really came about because of town officials. Folks came back and said, it's really difficult finding grants. It seems that maybe one agency, they have a very different way that their application is. There just doesn't seem to be any streamlining. And guess what? We listened. And that's where we have the Community One Stop. And from that now, you have a system where it's one common application. And this year will be seen by 14 different programs, programs within economic development, housing and livable communities, and mass development. Next slide, please. So real quick, I think that people can understand some of the benefits of this. You have one application that you're filling out, and yet all sorts of folks are taking a look at it. Just to give you a little example, I'm with rural development, and in rural development, we have a $500,000 cap on what we give to a municipality for a project. However, because of this collaborative review, let's say there's a really great project that may be $1 million project. Then we talk to the folks over at Housing and Livable Communities. Let's say it's something for a culvert or a bridge or some street or water infrastructure. And we talk to them and say, hey, we really think this is a great project for this community. Can you take a look at this as well? Maybe you can put in X amount and then we can cover the rest of the amount. And so that happens. That's something that never would have happened 6, 7, 8 years ago, but it does happen with this. The other nice thing about this is that if we can help you, if for whatever reason the project that you're looking for your community is not a fit for the one stop, we're going to try to help you as the federal funds folks do as well. Find you a place, find you somewhere that you can turn to help with getting that project going in your community. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, it's 3 basic agencies: economic development, and under Dev, you'll see that the MassWorks infrastructure, rural development, vacant storefront, and this year, 2 new programs, the Downtown Initiative and the Seaport Economic. And I'll talk a little bit more about those in a minute. Under Housing and Livable Communities, Housing Works, Housing Choice, Community Planning, the MBTA Catalyst Fund, and under Mass Dev, the Underutilized Property, UPP, Site Readiness, Brownfields, Real Estate, and the TDI Equity Investments. So 14 great programs, and again, one application to be seen by all of these programs. Next slide, please. What's kind of interesting, and this is something that the One Stop came up with this development continuum, because what'll happen is that people will come through with a project, and it may be in different stages. You might have already done a lot of planning. You may have already acquired a parcel where you're looking to do some economic development on that parcel. So depending on where you are in that continuum, that's going to matter on what program may look at you and at the type of funding that will follow that. The other thing too, that while all 14 of those programs are open to municipalities, some are also open to nonprofits and for-profits as well. Next slide, please. And real quick overview right now. We are in the guidance phase at this point. And one big part of the guidance phase is the expression of interest. And I'll go into that a little bit more as well, because we have something new with the expression of interest. The expression of interest is, you're not required to do it. We recommend that you do because it's an opportunity to get instant feedback on a project that you might be looking at. And I tell people, even if it's not something that maybe your community is looking to do this year, maybe not even next year, but it's something that's kind of in the back of your mind, I suggest do an expression of interest just to get the feedback if it's a good fit for the program. And if it's not, the tool is going to give you some recommendations of what you can do maybe and where to look. The other part that we do now are webinars. There have been a couple live webinars that have already taken place, and then we're getting into the virtual office hours, which will extend until April. The application itself, excuse me, I say, will the feedback be more robust? Yes, if you haven't had a chance to, definitely take a look at the put one in the EOI. We are using a AI feature, although it is in beta phase. So we are looking at everything that comes in just to make sure that the answers. But I think that you'll find that it's very robust in the type of questions that are being asked and the type of answers that you get. But if for some reason you don't think it is, please, please, please reach out to us because number one, we want to make it a better experience and we want to be helpful. The full application itself will be available in May that you'll be able to start submitting. You actually can now start working on your applications. You just can't hit the submit button, and that's in IGX. The collaborative review, once the applications are in, and you have until 11:59 p.m. on June 3rd, although I don't recommend that you wait till 11:59 p.m. to hit the submit button. Once those applications are in, then the collaborative review process begins. We start taking a look at every single one of the applications that come in, seeing where there might be some overlap between some of the programs, and that review process will continue till about just around July 4th, a little bit after that. And then we will make sure that awards are done early in the fall to try to get that money out the door as soon as possible. Next slide, please. So the expression of interest. This is interesting this year. Again, we decided to go with trying an AI feature, and it is absolutely instant feedback. If you have a chance, there is on the One Stop site, if you want to see a demo of the AI feature. And again, I do want to mention that this is completely safe. Okay, this is not. This doesn't get put on the internet. It is in beta form, as I mentioned. So we are still, when I say we, Pat Shannon, folks from the programs are looking to make sure that the answers going out from the feature are what they should be. We had an opportunity to work with it to try to kind of goof up the AI assistant many, many times in the fall. So we think it's at a point that is very helpful. So what will happen is that you'll enter, as you have done in the past, enter a project description, maybe the scope of the work that you are doing. If you receive the grant, what it's going to be used for. And typically the AI agent will come back with maybe one or two questions if it doesn't look like there's enough information that has been put in. And then after it looks like everything is there, the AI agent will come back another time just to verify that all the information that you've submitted is correct. If there is anything else that you want to add, and then you will get instantaneous if it is the fit for the program, where it should be. And in addition to that, you will receive helpful hints to making an application stronger. And then you will get an immediate email with everything that was said in this kind of chat that you did, as well as again, tips to possibly strengthen your application. If it is not a good fit, you will also receive where you can look for other funding. Next slide, please. Virtual office hours, as I mentioned, we are in virtual office hours, have started. You can go on to the One Stop and you can see if where some of the webinars are already available. Every program did a pre-recording of their specific program. I would recommend this. When you're getting ready to do your application, to make sure you look at the specific guidelines that go with each program that you might be interested in. And I say that because there are little nuances with, so rural development, we may have something just a little bit different in what we are expecting from an application than maybe somebody else. Just take a look at it, just to make sure that you're kind of aligning with the particular program. So I would suggest that you take a look at that guidance. But you have an opportunity to ask that. So we are doing live office hours. I believe the one for rural development, everyone's doing them in April. I believe we're sometime in that second week in April that we'll be having ours. And that's an opportunity to ask very specific questions to a particular program. And so I recommend, please take advantage of that. We will also make sure that those are taped, and those will also be available on the One Stop. Next slide, please. Okay, so we're actually already past some of these things. We've done the live webinars, and those now are on the site that you can go back and take a look. And the pre-recorded webinars are all up on the One Stop Community One Stop site at this point. Next slide, please. Okay, the full application. We use the IGX system, as I mentioned, that you cannot hit the submit button before May, but you can start working on that application now. The collaborative review, besides the agencies looking at that, in the case of rural development, we have some outside folks that take a look at the applications as well. Our good friends at the regional planning agencies tend to be some of the reviewers. We obviously will not have someone from a regional planning agency review something that is an application from their district, but they will review one from another part of the state. And if you know of people that would like to be reviewers, we are always looking for people. I think it's a really interesting process to go through for folks to be a reviewer. And I know that when I mentioned that to Mallory, she was saying that she would like to be a reviewer. So please, we always welcome folks that might want to take a look. And I think that what's helpful with that too, that every single application, I can tell you from the rural development, you have about 6 sets of eyes looking at every individual application. So it's a nice process. Next slide, please. The exciting part of things is that we've been able to get a lot of grants out the door. 306 communities out of the 351 have received an award. We're working very hard in rural development. We have still about 21 towns that have never applied for a one-stop. And we're going to really work on those 21 towns this year to try to get them to put in an application, because I think that you'll see that there are all sorts of things that you can put in an application for, from planning for zoning. So there are a lot of things at the front end that maybe people don't realize that you can get a grant for. But there's been over $744 million in funding that has gone out the door. And these have been transformative projects for so many communities. Next slide, please. And this is just a map. And so you can see the blue, that these are the communities that have received at least one, and in some cases, multiple one-stop awards. And the white are the ones that we're going back after and try to make sure that we can get them to put in an application. Next slide, please. And I had mentioned to you about the development continuum. As I mentioned as well, the municipalities are eligible for all 14 of the one-stop programs. Some may have some differences. Some, as I mentioned, the rural development is only open to the 181 rural communities, and that new seaport is only open to the coastal communities. And there are some for the MBTA. The MBTA communities, obviously, would be the ones that would be eligible for some help in that. Nonprofits are able to apply for the site readiness as well as underutilized properties in TDI. The for-profits can only apply for UPP and the TDI equity. And we've already talked a little bit about the timeline. So it launched in January. Those of you, if you attended the MMA conference, that typically is when the big announcement comes out for the one stop. You can start working on that application now. The expression of interest, as I mentioned, not required to do, but I would suggest, I think it's a kind of a nice exercise to do, if nothing else, and gives you some good feedback. And it also is an opportunity if you're thinking about a project, again, maybe a couple of years down the road, put it in and see what comes back, see what you get. The webinars happening now between now and April, as well as the office hours. Because the EOI, because we are using the AI assistant, and because it's instantaneous feedback, in past years we have stopped the expression of interest. There had been a deadline. Now, because of this new way that we're doing things, the expression of interest will actually stay open right until the last day of when applications can be submitted, mainly because it does offer some tips on helping with writing the application and putting things in the application. And the application submission, so you have just about a full month to get in the application. Again, please don't wait till the last day and the last hour if possible. These are time stamped, so I mean we know when the applications come in. And the other thing, we understand what can happen sometimes. Hopefully we're not going to have a storm in the middle of June, but things can happen. Computers crash, things happen, and so it's always a good idea to try to give yourself at least a few days leeway before you get that in, with review and approval coming and the awards happening in the fall. Next slide, please. Okay, so that was kind of a really quick rundown, and I'm happy to take some questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. And if I don't have an answer for you today, I will absolutely get an answer to you.